up top, side control. Now working on bottom. I always want my hand cupping the hip, my elbow on the inside. I can't have my elbow out here for the same reason we want to trap it. Because I can't get on my side if my elbow is here. If I get my elbow here, I can start to get on my side. But if if my elbow's here and I can't attach to my ribs, I'm stuck on his thigh. Okay? So I need to fight to get that in, cup his hip. I cup the hip so that as he moves, particularly north-south, I can follow, right? I want to be able to feel where he's moving. The other part of this, or the other third of this, is my frame, or my legs. Start with my legs. So obviously, they have to be bent. If I'm flat, he's going to step over to the mount. You know, you want to feel his hip here, okay? But you know, it depends on. You get to a level where if I start trying to feel his hip too much and this knee is up, he's going to start using counters to this, like I use to drive my leg away. So you kind of have to be careful, okay? But you know, you just want to feel where they're at every now and then. Feel where they're at. If I can start to escape my hips a little, I'm trying to create separation between my hips and his knee. So if I can ever get my hips out, I can start to get my knee in. So I'm knee to elbow there, okay? So, and then third, so my legs are bent so that I can bridge and create that space. I'm mobile, right? The lower half of my body is mobile. The third part, the most important, is frame, okay? Anytime you're down on your side, you can't have your arm out here hanging out, or even down here. They're going to attack it, and you're going to get in trouble. I have to have a frame. And the problem I see with a lot of people's frames is they just kind of put their hand here, their arm here when they start. There's got to be a purpose with this frame. So I want him to pay a penalty whenever he's trying to really hold me down. So my frame, I want to cut my fingers just behind his shoulder, okay? And I'm applying just a little pressure here. So the more he tries to maintain his side control position, the more I make him pay a price. Even a little one. It doesn't have to be huge. I'm not trying to choke him from the bottom, right? I'm not trying to submit him from the bottom. I'm just trying to make him pay a price. So that when I do decide to bridge, I can use that leverage against his throat or his esophagus to make life more miserable and create that space, okay? So I'm here, my legs are bent. So we're going to start with just very basic. First one is just replacing the guard. I'm going to bridge into him, right? I'm never going to turn away. So I'm trying to get the space between his chest and mine. So I'm bridging into him, turning over my shoulder, okay? Then I'm going to hip out, and now this is not enough. My hips are escaped and my knee can get in, but I need more space to operate, so I'm going to lock my shoulders out, okay? I'm not going to be here. If he's not going to let me do this. He's going to be trying to press, and if my elbows are bent, I'm going to get tired. My arms are going to get tired. So I want him locked out. One on top of the shoulder, one underneath, here. And now my arms are locked out. I'm not necessarily carrying his weight with my muscles. It's just, you know, I'm able to hold him a little bit longer. So I was bridging, hipping out, now my shoulders back. I have all this space in the world. So there's two ways. The fundamental way, they're both fundamental, but the first one that we teach just to get used to stepping over is this outside foot is going to step over inside his knee. And I'm going to use that kind of opposing pressure to allow me to swing this knee in. I want both knees to the ceiling, and now when I'm here, I'm going to bring him towards me, okay? And I need to get my feet out. What I'm not doing is trying to pull them out, okay? I got to be more efficient. I'm going to get on my side, flare open my underhook here, circle it out, same thing on the other side like I'm in a hammock, and get to close guard. So I'm rocking back and forth in my hammock to circle my feet out. So again, real quick, elbow is tucked, my frame, my knees are bent, I'm feeling where he's at, and I feel like I've got to pay attention to what this guy's doing. If you squeeze me, I'm not going to try to get out of here right now. I'm going to give him a little pressure, make him pay a price. When he lightens up a little bit, I'm bridging, hipping out, shoulders back, step over, and replace, okay? More advanced guys, when you're in this position, I don't need to step over. I'm just swinging my hips in right here. This foot's staying out. All I need to do is circle this one out, boom, and into close guard. Okay, let's practice this, and then we'll get into more. We'll continue to work on this. Let's look at the so, listen, anytime someone passes, I don't want to let them settle before I get my cupping the hip and my frame and my knees bent. You know, I'm still fighting for the position. I know I may have lost it, so I'm not going to do anything crazy, but let me posture real quick. As he's coming down, my preference is not a frame. My preference is an underhook. Okay, I want this pummel. That's what I want. So, we're going to work to that, but we're going to start from the frame position again, okay? So now, if he's super heavy, maybe I can't bridge him so far away to get my hips out and my shoulders back. Instead, I'm going to need to bump him, right? And this is, I think it's a hard concept for beginners to understand, but once I understood, it helped a lot. I'm going to try to circle this frame to the underhook here. But it's not going to be easy because he's heavy. So instead what I'm going to do is, if he's too heavy to bridge and keep him away, I'm going to bump. And so what that is here, boom. And in this time that between my body drops and his follows mine, I need to get my hand in between our two bodies, okay? It's going to get stuck. It doesn't matter. But I'm just going to keep bumping until my hand's free and I can punch it to his like belt. Okay, and now that it's here, I can open it up. And I'm opening up my elbow, my palm up. You hear me say this a lot. I'm really big on palm up. I don't like palm down because guys get in the habit of doing this, right? They panic and they're doing this. And when I do this, all I'm doing is helping him do his job. I never want to grab on the bottom. I want to be fluid. So palm up. And now I can push and flare my arm away and start getting on my side. But I have to keep this right elbow to this side. The elbow has to stay attached to my body. If I extend it, it starts escaping away and he grabs underneath my tricep, I'm never going to escape. He's going to hold me here forever. I have to keep my elbow attached to my body so I can get on my side. Now I'm flaring this as I turn into him here. Okay? So, we're here again. I'm cupping hip, but I need to get my hand. So I'm going to curl my fingers like a snowplow and get him in between our chest. Keep bumping so I can work to get it out. Boom. And once it's out, flaring the elbow. I want his arm on my shoulder, ideally, here. Now look, he tries to get his arm back. He can't, right? He's got to create space to do that, and I can follow him up. So I want you to flare that elbow as much as you can. And now that I'm here, I'm using my legs to create the momentum to get on my side. I'm turning my hips over, taking my head out. When you take your head out, you're gonna seatbelt around his waist. Well, not necessarily seatbelt, but cable grip around his waist. And then the important part here is that when I do this, my knee needs to go somewhere over his calf. Knee on the inside, foot on the outside. If my knee and foot are on the inside, he can roll the knee bar, okay? If my knee and feet are on the outside, he's just gonna roll over the closed guard, over his inside shoulder, and now I gotta fight to pass his guard. So as soon as you come out of the back, I'm here, and my knee's going over his ankle or over his calf, and my foot on the outside, okay? So my knee's on the inside, foot is on the outside, so that he can't roll, but I'm not in harm's way for a knee bar. And then we're just solidifying the position, okay? So frame to pummel. Once you have the pummel, flare, palm up, don't grab him, don't hold him to you, and start using your leg to escape, kick, out the back. When you come up, grip around the waist, put your knee over the calf.
Flare to snowplow.
Yeah, because a lot of times this will get caught in people's gis, it'll get stuck in there and you're trying to get it out. What I don't do is I don't pull my frame. I never pull my frame out to get it in his armpit. As soon as you pull it out, he's going to attack it. So it's got to bump, frame, and circle. Windshield wiper, you're on.
Again,
okay? Position. So,
but it's jiu-jitsu, so it's always cool.
Yeah.
That's right.
Let me have it on this side real quick. All right. So look, the keys detail is going to be on this side. So if you guys want to watch over here. Now look, when I'm here, you know, I'm safeguarding his. I don't want him to be able to go to mount. So you know, I'm trying to feel where his hips are. When I'm ready, I'm going to go frame the pummel, you know, extend. What happens here is when you guys commit to this inside knee for this guy, like I teach, is going to go right to knee on belly in the mount. Boom. Right, he's going to take advantage of you being on your side and in the position of trying to escape out the back to go here and slide over to mount, okay? And so we'll go back. What happens when I, just start from here, when I do that, when I start going here and he starts going to mount, I'm always trying to fight this leg and try to catch it, and it's too late, okay? So the battle is not, his focus is to drive this knee to the mat, to get to mount, right? He wants to get this knee to the mat to get to mount. That's where his focus is. So when he starts driving it, I can't follow that because that's where his priority is. Instead, when he starts driving this to mount, he's not forgetting about this one he left behind. And it's lighter. So instead, and I'm already on my side, I'm going to frame that one away and get the bottom half guard on the other side when they go to mount. Does that make sense? I know I talked to some of you about this. But So again, and he's going to try to make a quick move to mount, very sneaky. He's not going to posture up, he's just going to boom, boom. Right, so as soon as I'm here for him to pummel, I go here, he's going to go to mount. Boom, as soon as he does, I'm just framing this far knee away, and I've got everything I need right here to go to his back on the opposite side. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Let's try that.
What if he just stays in knee and belly like you do and go for the collar choke?
Then you're tough.
Then I'll show how to do a knee on belly. Yeah.
But if he's just trying to drive right through, then that's what
He's trying to get to mount, ideally, because that's the best time to do it. When these guys go frame to underhook, I just boom, boom. You know, in some cases I'll stay too, but I like to get to mount from there, and then I'll come back to knee on belly once I get mount. So,
And why would you do that?
because it's a better attacking position for me. I'm not saying overall, but I like knee on belly to attack from. So I'll get my mount points and tire them out, and then come back to knee on belly to finish. All right, let's do it.
So we're doing
So
that
go
now?
slowly at first, guys. You know, drive that knee. As long as the top guy knows how to drive his knee to mount, the bottom guy can play. You're focusing on the knee they're leaving behind.